Welcome back to my channel. Lindiwe Zulu gets interviewed by SABC News reporter and shares her views about ANC, Government of National Unity, and why she is no longer the minister. For continue, please do me a favor, do not forget to subscribe as I'm reacting to this video about Lindiwe
and your family. We appreciate it. All right, let's get straight to our discussions. The former Social Development Minister, Lindiwe Zulu, joins me now live in studio. Thank you so much for joining me.
So it's said that Lindiwe Zulu was removed as a minister. For some people, they feel like she really deserved it, Now let's watch what she is about to say.
Also, our digital audiences here as well. They're going to jump in, put up their hands if you have any questions, digital audience, and I'll try my very best to get to you. Former minister, how's that sitting with you now?
You know, when you're a minister appointed, you will always expect that in the movement and in the new developments, it's not given that you would be the minister. And in my case, I'm just happy that I started putting together the handover reports, the exit reports, which I think is very important for everybody to.
And also, guys, I don't think she is really deeply touched because these people have been chowing money for a very long time. She probably still has millions in her account, guys. I'm just saying.
Do, because being in government is not your factory. Being in government is your party that decides you being on the list. But again, being in the executive and being a cabinet minister is decided by the president. So obviously, I prepared myself for this moment. Not that I.
So I'm sure some people are busy on the comments saying Usa Ramaphosa got rid of her because he does not need her anymore. People say a whole bunch of things in the comments about these sacked ministers.
Thought it would go this way, but that's the way it has gone. And I'm happy that I had prepared myself for it. Yeah.
The handover becomes very crucial.
Yeah.
The new minister, Minister Tolashe, as well as her deputy, Khanif Hendricks, coming into the fold. Have you met with them as yet?
I have had a conversation with Minister Tolashe, and the good thing is that I come.
How old is Lindiwe Zulu, guys? I'm just curious because she looks really young, and she has been in this game of politics for a while, but she does not look a day above 60 years. I'm assuming she's still on her 60s. Tell me how old she is, guys.
And we've agreed on the date of the meeting where I will do my formal handover. I've also had a conversation with the deputy minister because I think that's very important, considering the fact that we are now in a government of national unity. So we need to be seen to be supportive of the new environment that we are not used to. But, well, I'm lucky I'm one of those who experienced it in the past. In 1994, I was in the legislature when the Nationalist Party withdrew, and I became the deputy speaker at the time,
Now, I just want to say a big shout out to her for accepting her new situation and working with their new team and trying to lead them in whatever help that they will need. And it seems like she has been really in this game for a very, very long time. She is in 1994. She has been there, guys,
Professor William Gumede wrote in the past that in order for the GNU to succeed, there needs to be merit-based appointments in terms of cabinet, in terms of the executive. Do you think that was achieved this time around?
I think the president in particular was really in a very difficult situation because, when you are a president of the governing party, you are talking about people, you look at the people that you've worked with.
Yeah, that's true. You look at the people you worked with, but does it mean those people, like previously you had before selected, are they going to do a good job? Because no one that you have appointed before has been really exceptionally doing good. All of them, I feel like they're just the same, They're just trying to look good, but they are all failing to do their job. So it's really hard when it comes to selecting the right people for the job, regardless of the skills or qualifications.
All the time, not only from a political angle, but you have an executive who you have sat with in cabinet meetings, you've sat with in mahutlas of the ANC, plus the ones of cabinet. So it's easier that way. This time around, he also had to then rely on the political parties that are in the government of national unity, and I'm sure he was hoping that whoever they put forward would be people that would be up to the task that is in front of us in ensuring that South Africa becomes a better country. Of course, the issues of qualification and the issues of experience and the issues of commitment, because you can talk about qualification, you can talk about me being a master's degree in journalism and all, but it's another story to be committed to serving the people and then also being able to be up to the task. I'm hoping that that was considered by the president as well as the different political parties when they put the names of the people that have to be in the executive today.
Yeah, no, guys, she is spitting facts, on this one. I'm just a little bit skeptical about the fact that right people will be selected, because I'm just doubting it. Like previously, we have never seen something like that. It's really hard. Only a few people are selected and they are doing their job, especially if they are selected by Cyril. I don't want anybody to be a puppet. Let's just hope the government of national unity will make sure that everyone is held accountable when they are doing wrong, or immediately taken out if they're not doing the job correctly or have any sorts of corruption or whatever.
Pull back the curtain for us a bit. You've been to many of these cabinet lekgotlas. This time it's different with regards to the political parties that have now joined the government of national unity. They obviously need to understand that it's not about them, it's not about their party, it's about the nation at large. How best do you think this will be communicated at this lekgotla?
Well, I think the good thing about South Africa, and I speak as a person that has really extensively traveled in the African continent and the world, what is important is that South Africa has got institutions of governance. You have a constitution that clearly stipulates the powers and functions of the executive, the powers and functions of government, the bureaucracy that is there. The good thing about South Africa is that we have been able to shape that for the future. It will be tempered, obviously, now, because we've been doing that as the African National Congress.
Now, also, guys, with the constitution, I would say that we actually have a very, very solid constitution. It's really good. We actually have a lot of freedom, but people are actually taking it for granted, But the main problem may be if they try to change constitution, some things might be a little bit hard. We've had a good constitution. The problem was the political party in power. It was not really correctly following the constitution, guys. The only main problem I have with the constitution is when it comes to issue of land, guys. But overall, I think we have a very good constitution. I don't know if you guys read the constitution before, because most people like criticizing the constitution without even reading it, guys.
But I think the fact that we were able to put those institutions in place, and I am one of those people that I've always believed strengthening the institutions of governance is key to giving people institutional recourse, because when there's no institutional recourse for people, then it becomes very difficult, because whatever they say, they're not sure whether that's going to be captured or not. And I think in this case, and I'm happy that the calendar, the usual calendar of government, the usual calendar of Parliament and the NCOP has really been stuck. And I think the guidelines that have been put, by the way, the guidelines were also assisted by the statement of intent, because if you want to have order in a country, you need to be organized. Never mind your different quarrels. You now have
I like the fact that she is talking about the institution which were made in terms of helping out when it comes to decision making, so that when the rules are about to be broken, they can be always referring back to what the constitution has to say about a certain decision making. So if the government of national unity was to try and change the constitution, it was going to be very, very tricky, because different mindsets are coming together, with different opposals and whatever. So I feel like the current constitution we have, will serve everyone And I just wish they refer to the current one that we have.
Situation of how many political parties with their manifestos, and each one of them is going to want to say my manifesto is in there. I think we are guided, in particular South Africa, by the National Development Plan, which is a 2030 program, provided you don't have people who are going to start saying that, no, we don't believe in that.
When it comes to this problem of manifestos, guys, I'm just a little bit worried about the DA and some other political parties, because DA and the IFP, guys, you know, when it comes to this issue of manifestos, I just hope they do not capture the constitution and end up, you know, making the constitution favor them. That's what I do not want, because most of their they just want like selfish favors and everything, already wanting to rule, guys. It doesn't make sense.
Because it was supposedly maybe an ANC, this national plan was adopted by Parliament, right, was adopted by the people of South Africa. And
I want to acknowledge that the ANC was very good in its negotiation to get itself the lion's share of the cabinet and of all deputy minister portfolios. I have to give them credit for such good negotiating skills. But
let me know what you think on the comment section below. Was the ANC good on the negotiations? Please make sure you subscribe as we continue.
I think what is most critical for South African voters and the public is the question of policy implementation and capacity to implement those policies. I mean, the NDP is a beautifully written policy, and our political leaders can speak very eloquently, but I think what we need to know, what we need a guarantee of, is implementation and capacity that we have to see in the public service of the public sector.
Ambassador, thank you very much indeed. Howard, let's hear from you.
Please, stay tapped in, guys.
Yes, good evening. I also concur with my colleague, Mr. Mbasa. However, I still want to extend this further. When the president was announcing the new cabinet, he did say that they are going to be the cabinet for the country, and they're going to work as a collective for the benefit of the country, of course. And just tonight, the former minister was saying that there are institutions in place to ensure that all those cabinet ministers are going to be put to order, so to say. There will be checks and balances. And ahead of the next Lekgotla, the previous speaker was just saying that there will not be an ANC Lekgotla, and each party will not have their own. Yeah. They're going to have one big Lekgotla where they discuss whatever they're going to discuss for the benefit of the country. Now,
yeah, no, this one will be a little bit tricky, especially for the ANC, as they are used to their own Lekgotla. This Lekgotla will be a collective of other political parties. The ANC like calling shots, but this time they will not. Unfortunately, new cabinet will be selected for Lekgotla.
What I want to address is that apart from the mechanisms that we do have in place, isn't it necessary for us to have also a so to say a system of checks and balances amongst the political parties themselves? Because when they come to a governance, they come there as a collective, meaning first and foremost, they must also agree amongst themselves as different political parties to say we stand on one thing. Now, isn't at that point that we need a system of checks and balances before we can get to the governance space? Thank you.
Understand. Is it the president that will always break that deadlock, or should there be other mechanisms put in place in order to get consensus?
Well, the president ultimately takes the responsibility, and of course working with the deputy president. But also remember, the president has got advisors in all the different areas of work, whether it's international, whether it's even social development, whether it's, he just has advisors whose sole role is to make sure that they...
Yeah, no, but I thought Ramaphosa previously was taking an advisors because it was not making sense, you know. So with this second term, I don't know. Just hope he takes good advices, you know, as multi-parties are coming together. So I just hope so, guys.
I support him in ensuring that if in case there's a deadlock, and in this particular case, you are bound to have those deadlocks. But ultimately, the president takes... because the powers and functions as they are allocated as per the Constitution, the president will have to then be the deadlock breaker when all is said and done. However, it's important to appreciate and understand that cabinet would sit until forever. I've been there. And it doesn't mean that the cabinet of the previous cabinet, which was that of ministers of the African National Congress, always went in there and agreed. No, it's not like that. What happened?
On a minute, guys, do you also acknowledge that Lindiwe Zulu is also been taken out from the being a minister? Not only Lindiwe Zulu, it seems like this Lindiwe's, but no, guys, Lindiwe Zulu is really cool. You guys know her. You know, I just had a little bit of problem with Lindiwe Zulu, not Lindiwe
is that
Zulu.
all of us individually would have and take our own policy issues. But I think what's important is that once a policy pronouncement has been made by cabinet, it becomes binding to all. Same thing will happen now. Every minister would be expected to bring their policy programs, to bring their budgets and all, and argue over whether the budget is going to be carried out or not. So it's not going to be easy this time around.
Yes, it's not going to be easy, but what I like about this time around, you know, everyone will easily be held accountable, you know, if everything goes wrong, because it's multiple parties.
But I am expecting, again, I go back to the fact that prior to the government of national unity, the African National Congress took lead, and I hear the question that we were able to negotiate. Let me tell you, it was a hard discussion, even in the African National Congress, as to what were the options sitting in front of us, looking at the results of the elections, and therefore the agreement that would go the route of the government of national unity.
Yeah, no, guys, she is right. You know, it must have been really tough on the ANC. You know, but the fact that the EFF is not included in the government of the national unity, I'm so happy about that one, because it will, from a distance, point out anything wrong that has been doing. That's one thing I know about the EFF. It will always make sure that it defends the constitution. It will make sure about that, one thing for sure. So if it was included in the government of national unity, it was going to be a whole lot of chaos, because now they will be getting favors from the inside. You know, it was going to be hard for them, you know, to hold everyone accountable about anything wrong, because if they were to do that, you know, they would think about other things. You know, they would think that if we are now working with the DA and we hold them accountable about something, it is going to affect our relationship, and they might do something, you know, to sabotage us, or even the ANC, because we are not listening, we are not following the procedures, the internal procedures of whether how much money is going to be charged or what's going to happen. So yeah, ANC didn't have any choice, as Lindiwe was saying. You know, it had to consider a lot of things at stake, you know, sacrificing the majority that they had. You know, it's not like they had any choice. You know, they had to look for something, you know. Now, thank you so much for watching. You guys, your thoughts in the comment section below. What you did, do not forget to subscribe for more test updates, and also ring the notification bell.